How much are you willing to invest to achieve your goals? We've all heard logical and reasonable excuses from people justifying why they've given up on their goals and their dreams. For example, one person said, it's just too difficult to contribute to Alzheimer's patients because the people that support that work are so disorganized. Another person said, I can't teach grade school children because there's just not enough support from administrators. And then, of course, there's the novelist waiting to be discovered rather than doing the hard work that's required in today's environment to market the books and to get books into readers' hands. All of these are reasonable justifications for pulling off to the side of the road instead of pushing forward to achieve our dreams. And the truth is, sometimes it does seem that the barriers are too high and the costs are too big, the risks too great to continue. After all, blind, stubborn tenacity can put you in harm's way. Have you ever relied on excuses and justifications rather than going after the results that you wanted? Do you occasionally think that you wish you had done something differently? At the end of this brief program, we'll recommend additional materials that will support you in moving past barriers and pursuing your goals. Hi, this is Marlena Fiol from Becoming Who We Truly Are, a YouTube show that deepens our understanding of who we are, but more importantly, who we can become. If you find value in this program, please give it a thumbs up or maybe press the subscribe button on your screen. It makes a big difference. For decades, I've been inspired by the life and work of a fearless medical pioneer, Dr. John R. Schmidt. Because of my personal relationship with him and also the extensive research that I've been doing on his well-documented life, I'm familiar with the many stories regarding his brave and some would say rash approach to decision-making. Like many pioneers, Dr. John's concerns about his own safety seldom influenced his choices about what needed to get done. Today, I'm going to give you just one example. And for those of you who'd like an even deeper look into the life of Dr. John and the risky adventures and romance, as well as his significant contributions, we recommend my memoir, Nothing Bad Between Us, which was published in 2020, as well as our new historical novel called, release date November 2, 2021. The website addresses are in the show notes below. Immediately following his medical internship in Baltimore in 1941, Dr. John chose to travel to the nearly uninhabitable Chaco of West Paraguay, South America, to provide medical care for a struggling German Mennonite colony. In addition to his medical work, John also focused on improving the dire economic conditions in the colony. For example, he oversaw and helped construct a dirt road between the colony and a distant railway station so that the colonists could more efficiently transport their products to customers in Paraguay's capital city of Asunción. So while working on the road construction one evening in late July, John came dangerously close to losing his life. It was the end of a long day of felling trees and digging up stumps. His fellow workers were loading their axes and saws onto their horse-drawn wagon, while John continued to stubbornly struggle with a Palo Santo tree. Palo Santo is one of the hardest and heaviest woods in the world. A big branch broke loose. John threw his axe and he jumped to get out of the way, but he was too late. The branch struck him on the forehead and knocked him to the ground. Let me read you a brief excerpt from our historical novel called, describing what happened next. As John slowly regained consciousness, his hand moved toward the gaping wound on the right side of his forehead. Shakily, he got up and with help staggered toward the wagon, climbed up and sat with his head resting in his arms. With every jolt, the searing pain increased and blood began pooling on the wagon bed. But it wasn't until John felt watery fluid draining from his ears that he was gripped by fear, knowing he risked blood clotting in the brain and or herniated brain tissue. Finally, the wagon stopped in front of his hospital. John walked slowly, holding his head in his hands, and lay down on one of the beds. In response to calls from the men, Schwester Maria, his nurse, soon arrived. She bent over him and then drew back, her hands trembling. Cerebrospinal fluid was running out, John told his nurse. I think it's stopped now. I need you to sew up my head. She began cleaning the wound and then stopped. Herr Doktor, she cried. She shook her head. Well, said John, if you can't do it, I'll have to. Can you at least get me a mirror? Gritting his teeth, he swabbed the raw area with iodine. Picking up the curved needle, he threaded it with a steady hand. Stitch by painful stitch, he closed the red gash. After the stitches were in, he again swabbed the area with iodine and pasted a bandage over it. Schwester Maria stared at him, tears welling up in her eyes. He waved her away. I need to rest. Dr. John did recover from this brush with death, and within a few months, the scar on his forehead was just a jagged, dark line. I'm reminded of the words of George Bernard Shaw. The reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man. Are you willing to be unreasonable in pursuing your goals? I'm fortunate to have learned a great deal from my relationship with Dr. John and his wife, Clara Schmidt. And I love sharing pieces of their story. But for those of you who are deeply engaged on your own quest to becoming who you truly are, my path may not be the best path for you. It's a path toward increasing levels of peace that I've found valuable. But naturally, only you know what path is best for you. If you've found value in this program, please do give it a thumbs up or press that subscribe button. It really does matter. And please post any comments or questions you might have for me. I am interested and I'll respond promptly. For example, what justifications have kept you from pursuing your dreams? In addition, just so you know, I'll be posting a new YouTube episode every Tuesday at 6 a.m. Eastern Time. For additional inspiring stories of bold achievements, we recommend the following resources. First, a TEDx talk by Bethany Butzer encouraging us to stop trying so hard so that we may achieve more by doing less. And a TEDx talk by Mariana Atencio on what makes you special. And again, for a deeper look at Dr. John Schmidt's life and his many contributions, we recommend my memoir, Nothing Bad Between Us, published in 2020, as well as our new historical novel, Called, release date November 2, 2021. The web addresses of each of these are in the show notes. And remember, we are together on this journey.